Oh my God, is that the Faces of the Future? Welcome to episode 73 of the Faces of the Future podcast. It's your boy Millz.
It's your boy Shann.
It's your boy man, some Moose.
How you doing today?
I'm cooling, man.
My boy got the dually on.
Yeah, you know the vibe.
What's good with y'all? How y'all doing?
I'm good. Shannon, you fuck with them songs?
I did fuck with him, especially the second one.
That Shannon's groove right there.
Yeah,
You like-
definitely.
you like that
Jack
R&B.
Freeman is that nigga.
Yeah, I like riding around and shit like that.
The UK got him. R&B bag.
Jack Freeman.
Sounded like a John Legend for a little bit.
I thought it was John Legend at first too.
Jack Freeman is actually from the U.S.
Okay.
But I'm saying the first joint you played.
Oh yeah, Levin Colley. Levin Colley's from the U.S. too. He signed to Atlantic. He
So
was
why-
on Playboy Cardi's album.
So why you see? I'm not hip to some of these people. So why you say he's about to play some UK people and you play?
I was going to play.
He switched up.
He
I
switched
switched.
up. Boy,
I
don't got
switched.
confidence in the UK, man.
Nah, I got two.
You got me out here shouting out the UK. Like
I got two I could drop right now.
See, now I'm out this. Now I've just changed the whole intro up because I'm out here shouting the UK.
I mean, I could
out.
drop a tune right now.
Nah, it's too late for that.
I could drop a
Boy
tune right
switched
now.
Up. He have confidence
It's
in
all
his
good.
bag.
It's all good.
It's all
Second
good.
joint was fire though. I
Second
fucked
joint
with
was
it.
fire.
He's fire. You know, I was saying this too because y'all listen to Summer Walker's album, right?
I listened to some of it, not all of
You know the fifth track, Insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you put Jack Freeman on there, that song would go nuts. That song would go nuts, especially because they were both in their bag. That's Jack Freeman's bag right there. But
So why don't you play a UK bops like you was going to?
I mean, it just really depends because my whole thing was that you wanted two songs, and if I was going to play the nigga that I was gonna play, I'd have to drop three.
Why? Why couldn't you just give us the little teaser? You know what I'm saying? Give us into
because
the
because the way that I would have wanted it to go, it would have been fire because the samples are fire. That's the only reason why.
Well, UK, I gave y'all a shout out. I mean, I still rock with your R&B.
I mean, the UK is kicking
I
ass.
give y'all a
everything.
shout out, man. Even though I apologize to the artists that you know what I'm saying, y'all from the US.
It's all good.
So I'll give you the US.
It's all
But
good.
it is what it is. Let's jump right into it though. Man, we just got some news about the Kyle Rittenhouse case. And
Not guilty.
not guilty. All you heard is not guilty on all counts.
All counts. Homicide, reckless endangerment. I think.
Illegal firearms, manslaughter, all the above. I mean, are y'all surprised?
No, of course not.
But my thing is, how do you?
I don't know what you want me to say.
I'm not surprised.
I'm just confused as
I felt like off the rip he was going to get off.
not with everything though.
I felt like off the rip he was going to get off.
I didn't think he was
did.
gonna get off with everything. I thought he was gonna get like maybe like one of them slap on the wrist, like, all right, you got a little charge, you doing whatever. But everything.
Yeah.
You know he finna go on social media and talk his shit now too.
And I saw a clip that he handpicked his jury out of like a raffle. Is that normal?
Yeah, no.
No.
That's why they said they're calling a mistrial. But
Right.
the thing is, I'm not in law school. I'm really just this is just my thoughts. I think that when certain cases come out that are very, how do I say this? I don't want to say groundbreaking because this isn't a groundbreaking, but when things that get a lot of media attention involve certain cases, I feel like there's a story that they're trying to tell with that case as well. Like when we look at the Derek Chauvin, right? Like obviously everybody had admitted that was such a bad incident because everybody saw it. So for me, how I'm looking at it is that the story was being told was that y'all all saw this. We can't let him off. You know what I'm saying? So it's like as a result of that, we have to send him to jail.
They better have sent that man in jail.
And now you look at Kyle Rittenhouse.
She was about to go down.
Oh yeah,
today.
no, it would have been bad. It would have been bad. Like it was going to be bad.
Yeah, she was about to go down.
And then for him, and then for Kyle Rittenhouse, it's like it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, there was looting and rioting by the Black Lives Matter, and you know there was this boy who came in and he did what he did, and it's like they probably wanted to tell a story that like, yo, like this boy is innocent because there was a situation going on and he felt scared. You know what I'm saying? Like,
How do you feel scared though when you came into a place that you don't even live in with weapons that you're not even supposed to have?
Drove
and
a
start
grip,
spraying
too.
and
He
start
knew what it was.
spraying people
No, but that's what-
on some. You think you saving the world
You're right,
type
bro.
shit when you just murking people just.
What
to
about the
murk
people he
them, bro?
shot? Like
that's what I'm
they don't
trying
get
to
no justice for their family being killed.
Nah, you 100% right. But what I'm saying is that you got to understand is that when the lawyers are up there, they telling the story. You
Of
know what I'm
course.
saying? Yeah. And so it's like for them, they got to tell the story that, oh, he was scared. He was just traveling to do this. I didn't look at the case, but I can tell you that for a fact. They probably told, oh, yeah, he went through something happened. He went out because he was scared. Something probably happened to his car. He went out. They were saying that, like, the guy that came at him had a gun at him, so he shot him and all this other stuff. Like, there was a lot of BS that was going on with this
Super
trial.
BS.
And it's like when it called the mistrial, I'm not surprised. They're probably gonna have to redo this whole thing because that shit don't make no. I'm gonna say no fucking sense.
It don't make no sense at all.
It's like think about it.
It's like the judge also was like his homie. Like
he's
the judge was
up
acting.
there telling stories, doing dumb stuff. Like
the judge was like, I can't use the word victim in this situation because it's this, that, and the third. But it's like someone still died. So it's like my
two people died.
Yeah, two people died, and so it's like my thing is that let's go back to Derek Chauvin. And let's go back to Derek Chauvin's case for a second. It's like, so, like, were people not a victim there? Like, did you call them victims there? Like, when people invaded the Capitol in January.
Oh my God, that shit still.
When people died, are they victims? I don't like. Are they victims or are they people that can we call them victims because they went there on their own accord? You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure like a lot of these people called them victims who died. So my thing is that like, at what point is somebody a victim? In the courthouse when you guys want to be manipulative? It's like, are they only a victim to prove to change the narrative for the jury, or are you just saying that they're not victims because now if you use the word victim, that's now going to imply that something was intentionally done or accidentally done to these people, and that's not the story they wanted to tell. And that's what I'm saying. The whole thing is like, you got to understand, like, this whole thing, not even just about the lawyers, the whole court case is telling a story. And so for me, why this whole thing is bullshit, because like, y'all just told a false story. Especially when we've seen on the internet, police dropping off bricks, dropping off like a whole bunch of weapons to like go and start riots. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, it's like, this is going to tell a story that like 20, 50 years later, these people look at it as like, oh my gosh, Kyle Rittenhouse, he was a scared young boy. But like, nah, bro, that's not the case. Like,
he put himself in that predicament.
But that's what I'm saying. No, he did.
How are you scared, but you drive towards the chaos?
That's the
a long way too.
That don't make no sense.
Across state lines.
Yeah, you drive across state lines when you had no business being there in the first place, bro. And it's like,
it's crazy, but it doesn't surprise me because of the way like the court system works and juries and all that shit and the law. I had jury duty one time on a civil case, and the team that was suing the other team, they was getting crushed. Like the plaintiffs were getting crushed by the defendants. Like the defendants washed them, and they definitely like knew it. Like it was very just clear, but by the letter of the law, they were in the right. You know what I'm saying? Even though the defendants had a way stronger case than they did, by the letter of the law, when you had to apply it, when we do our deliberations, they were in the right. So it's like, when we told them that they was in the right and they won, like the smiles on their faces was insane.
Really?
Because I feel like they knew that they got crushed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it didn't matter. It didn't matter.
How'd you feel like being a juror, like, and you know that the defense presented the case in the best way they possibly could, and like,
I felt bad.
Won,
they should have won.
But they did it.
Yeah, I felt bad, and like you could see the looks on their faces, like, man, this is some bullshit, definitely in it. But the letter of the law, the way this shit works, man, it's crazy. There's so many loopholes and shit.
What do they always say? It's not about
what you can prove.
It's about what you prove in court.
Yep.
Like you could be the guiltiest person in the room, but if you prove that what you did was justifiable, you're gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
That's the, even though that like it's the reality situation, but like sometimes it's just that you kind of have to look at things and take it, and you have to look at the gray area. It's like, for nothing, it's like there were certain things that couldn't be admissible into this trial, I believe, and there was just a lot of things, and it's like there was just a lot of barriers to try to prove this man guilty, and it's like I just don't get it, because it's like I'm gonna say it again. It's like, why is it that it's so easy? And I'm not even say that. It just irritates me, because it's like you have a judge. Like I look at it like this: like you spent $200,000 to go to school. I'm not going to assume that he even went to that the judge went to a T14 school. You just put in $200,000 to go to school. You spent 3-4 years, and then you spent another 10 weeks or so studying for the bar, and then now you practice law. You did all this, made connections, all for you to now not even uphold law in the best way that you're supposed to, in an unbiased way. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's like, and this is where we go into these conversations about these professionals, not even just lawyers, but like everywhere. It's like we as African Americans, we have to understand about how important it is for us to get into these positions, not just a lawyer or doctor, but like just professionals. Because it's like, think about it. It's like you have a judge. I don't even know what state this was in. You have a judge that just sat up there.
Was it Missouri?
Was it Missouri?
Wisconsin.
Okay.
You have a judge,
I didn't know
or Minnesota, one of the
something
two.
like that.
You have a judge who had a complete bias against the riots and against this situation, and just basically
It should have been on the case.
Gave this case away. You know what I'm saying? Not for nothing, you go to doctors. You see white doctors go up treat black women. Black women get mistreated all the time, and then they end up dying because of it.
That's a thing.
It's the same thing here. You go to Rikers Island in New York. All these black kids probably got mistrial about something. They probably throw crack on them, like Dave Chappelle says. They put guns on them, do all these different things, and they get put into jail for life for shit that they don't even really do.
Mm-hmm.
And so for us, it's like we look at this situation, and I'm not trying to bash nobody because everybody has to get to the bag on their own. But it's like, yo, like we've spent so much time as a community focused on trying to make us into entertainers or make us into all these different types of people that can make us money and give us the clout. But it's like, what happened to the people that say fuck the clout? Like, just want to do what's right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even when you're in entertainment, like, what happens to the people? It's like, yo, fuck the bias. Like, I just want the truth of African Americans. I just want the truth of what's going on in this country. Like, because not for nothing, you have to understand. Like, I was explaining to my father like a couple weeks ago. I'm like, yo, like, America is really just like, it's just a nigga with a Gucci belt on. Like, you're a poor nigga with a Gucci belt on. Like, think about it. Like, when you really sit down and break it down, what type of stuff does America really have besides fast Wi-Fi and really nice marketing that all these other countries don't have? There's corruption, there's child trafficking, just like the rest of these countries.
It happens everywhere.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like we have all the same exact things
Same issues,
as
same
the rest of the countries of the world. But we're this great people because we're so good at buttoning ourselves up. And now it's like, oh my gosh, everybody wants to come here. So you find out you in the same exact bullshit.
We do, but shit be going down in other countries that.
Nah, but what he's saying.
But I get what he's saying.
What he's saying is we have we put on this facade that we're just this perfect nation.
We're not.
Yeah, that's what he's saying though. He's saying we put on
I
this
get what you're
facade,
saying.
And like, what do you mean? Like when he said button up, like I agree with that. Like we button up our problems, make it seem like, oh, this shit doesn't go on here, but it really does.
Other motherfuckers around the country, around the world, know. They be looking at us like, look at these dumb motherfuckers over here.
Because it's not for nothing. If not for nothing, it's like let's look at the conversation about critical race theory, right? It's like there's such a big conversation.
You want to
about
explain what critical race theory is first before we dive into it?
Critical race theory is what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a type of lesson that's taught in school about the true unbiased history of race, in which how America started up until where everything is at now in terms of race relations.
Okay.
The biggest issue is that a lot of these Republican states don't want that in there. They ban critical race theory. Texas, what they do, they ban, what was it, like the civil rights movement, and ban talk about Martin Luther King and slavery, I believe. And it's like
crazy.
That's not even really taught that much today in schools.
Yeah, it's not. And it's like,
like
it's crazy to me because it's like we look at all these different things and like we have this whole biased view. And why I bring this up is because we're even now trying to hide away the truth of what really went on in America to teach these kids that, oh yeah, America is this great place. But it's like, no, it's not for nothing. You got to understand, some of these kids, they great grandfathers and grandmothers were Klansmen. Not for like
Their parents probably
slave owners and all that shit.
Like they great uncle was probably a plantation owner and probably whipped some slaves. And it's like, it's ironic because it's like,
especially
yo, like
in the South.
Yeah, it's like ironic because y'all sat here and y'all told us, oh yeah, we need to pick ourselves up by bootstraps. Everything is fine. But if everything's fine, why can't we sit here and learn the truth about what y'all did? It's like the grandmothers and grandfathers who are all in place are now upset. The people that did all this racist shit is now upset that we want them to be accountable and have their grandkids learn that they great grandparents did all this racist shit. Like,
and they ain't trying to hear that.
Yeah,
shit.
and it's like, if everything is okay, y'all should be okay with it. Like, yeah, I whipped some niggas. It's cool now.
That'll never
you know what I'm saying?
It's never
but
gonna
it's not, because y'all know what y'all did was fucked up. Going back to this court case, it's the same exact thing. It's like, yo, let us come back and teach why this is wrong. Oh yeah, no, I don't want this court case to be taught why this was wrong. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, oh, but if you did everything right, you should be fine. And it goes into this thing about integrity. I'm sorry, I'm ranting a lot because stuff like this just pissed me the fuck off. It's like, my biggest thing is about integrity. In a lot of cases, when you doing things the right way and when you doing things with not an ounce of bias, or you know that you're doing things with the right instead of integrity and character, you have nothing to hide. You don't.
True.
It's like when we talk about critical race theory, there's shit to hide, which is why y'all so angry about it. This case, there's shit to hide. That's why y'all so afraid of having everybody really actually look at the trial.
What's there to hide in this case?
That y'all are fucked up, that y'all sat here and y'all let this white boy walk off, that this boy got a gun illegally, drove across 2 states, literally drove into a protest and
like
shot 2 people.
9 hours.
Yeah, you drove 9 hours, my nigga, and you were scared, and this was all unintentional. So you miraculously had an illegal gun, and you drove 9 hours. And my nigga's gonna say, oh yeah, I went hunting. Because you was going into a city, right, my nigga? Come on now. Like, people, like, the thing is, like, that's my thing about people. And it's like, I'm sorry because it's like it just irritates me because it's so easy to manipulate people with media and like with the law and all of these different things, and it irritates me because it's like it's not the truth. Like, it's not the truth, and it's not the shit that y'all really, 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 really think about. And this is part of the reason why we can never really move forward in race relations or just even anywhere as a society, because it's like y'all want to sit here and try to hide the past so much and hide your skeletons in your closet to the point where it's like, yo, like, people have to ask you questions. Because now what's going to happen now in 20, 30 years, right? Let's say most of these developing nations actually develop and they start asking real questions. Like, I'll take Africa, for example. Africa has been sitting here talking a lot. Some of these African countries are like, yo, we're not doing business with y'all no more. We want reparations from European countries. Like, and now they're starting to ask questions. You know what I'm saying?
People been asking questions though.
No, they've been asking questions, but the questions are now turning into actions. If what I'm saying makes sense.
In what way?
In a sense of like, yo, like we're seeing this, we're trying to pick the information, trying to find it, and next thing you know, it's like, okay, so this is what really happened. This, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense, but what I'm saying is that, like, the questions that we're looking for from the people that should be telling us and that should be honest, they're not telling us. So we're going to find these answers on our own. We're starting to find out that this shit is really actually fucked up. So now because of that, we're actually taking legitimate action now.
I don't think people even looking for answers from them. You're talking about white people in general. I don't think we're even looking for answers anymore in the sense of that, because I think we already know what's really going on. I think a lot of people have been knowing what's really going on for a long period of time. And I agree with you, the fact that people are starting to take action now for sure, and it needs to happen. But in terms of like the race, the race relations thing, when you discuss on if we think anything's going to change, if things not going to change, I don't think anything's going to change anytime soon. As sad as it is to say, because they don't even hold themselves accountable. The same way you say that they're erasing things from the history books, they're not teaching certain things. I think that's super wrong, because we always say if you don't teach history, history's going to repeat itself, and I think we see that happening over and over again, just in a different way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so I agree with that sentiment when you speak on that.
I'll say something else in terms of that, because it's like when it comes to history, like it's not just about being honest, but also you kind of have to let people know what's also going to happen. And I say that because I was reading an article one day. There was a town in Pennsylvania that used to be like 90% white, right? There was very, very little minorities.
Wait, what do they call those towns? Sundown towns?
Yeah, something like that.
Sundown towns is a town you can't go in after dark. You got to get out.
So, like, if you go out, it's going to be bad news?
Yeah, it's going to be bad. And I think, like, whatever goes on is legal or some crazy shit like that.
Really?
Just don't get caught in one.
I know Jersey got a couple of them. I was doing my research on that.
Yeah.
Stay far away from them joints. But continue, my fault.
No, you good. But yeah, so it was like, what happened was that there was a lot more minorities, a lot of Spanish people, a lot more African Americans coming in. And what ended up happening was that a lot of these white people, they got scared because they're like, yo, like, this used to be a white town and there's all these different people coming in, and I'm scared because it's like I'm losing my identity. And so my thing is that why I bring this up is because part of the thing about history as well is that you have to understand is that, like, white people are not the only people that are in this country. Like, not for nothing. Like, and you have to understand that as we continue to progress, there's going to be a large melting pot. Like, for me, it never made sense to me is America loves to brag about being a melting pot, and they love to be, oh yeah, we have all these diverse cultures, religions, all these different things, but y'all can't be comfortable enough to be around people that don't look like you. And it's like
that's true.
That's a very interesting thing to see, because it's like, so it's like, what are y'all being taught? Like, are y'all being taught that white people are going to be the dominant race in the country forever? No, because studies show that, like, by like 20, 30, 40, 50,
of course they being taught that.
By like 2050, 2060,
that's what they watch on
they're going to be the minority. Yeah.
That's what they watch on Fox.
And that's why I say it's like media is such an important tool that we need to have, because it's like we need to have the proper represent. And I say proper because, and not for nothing, I'm not saying there's a problem with this, but you need to have situations, for example, if you want to talk about dating, families, stuff like that, you need to actually have a black couple, a dark-skinned man and a dark-skinned woman, not just a dark-skinned man or a white woman or a white man and a black woman.
You talking about like in TV shows?
Yeah, in TV shows, commercials, all that stuff. Like the actual, what I mean by representation, you need to show the diversity.
You see a lot more mixed couples.
I think you see more of that now.
But you see, but let's be honest.
I see a lot of that shit.
But let's be honest.
And it's glaring to me.
But let's be honest. Is it more actual, like, am I seeing pure black couples, or am I seeing the lighter skinned black man and a white woman, or is it the lighter skinned black black woman and a white man?
I think nowadays, like the way it's going in media, I think we're starting to see more of what you're asking for. I think today, I think maybe a few years ago, no. But I think now, like when you have people like the Issa Raes and like even you say like as much as you hate Tyler Perry, but you see that stuff in their shows. Like you see those black families that you're looking for, and then of that nature. I think that it's going more towards that way because you have more independent directors, independent filmmakers, things of that nature that are pushing those narratives and making sure that shit hits the mainstream. I would say for sure, like in the past, it wasn't like that, and it's not all the way to where it needs to be. But I think we're getting better at that in the sense of that.
You know, that's true. I mean, so based on that, like Issa Rae had also explained that like they were trying to get a lot more white people into her TV shows. I just wanted your thoughts on that.
What'd you say?
Issa Rae had explained it in an interview. It was her last interview, magazine she was on. They were explaining that like Issa Rae was saying like a lot of like the big investors wanted her to put more white people in her TV shows. How did y'all feel about that?
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised either.
I think it's because I don't know how to put this. I think it goes back to what you said in the beginning of the conversation about them losing their identity. You know what I'm saying? Losing their representation. You feel me? And I think that's because that I'll call it like the gold rush of media where there's a lot of like black people in media nowadays. You even see it on television with like all the black women that are like, you have like the Taylor Rookses, Malika Andrews, things of that nature, where it's like coming to fruition. That things that we talked about in the past, and people aren't liking that. And we talked about the Rachel Nichols thing that last season, where she was simply mad because she thought that they were just trying to fit a narrative, and people don't want to accept the fact that some people are just better.
Right,
yeah, that's a fact.
And some stories just need to be told, and it's okay if Issa Rae doesn't want to put some people, a certain race in her media, because in the past in media, like we've been blocked out of those same situations. Now, when you have somebody that looks like us that wants to put the people that look like us on a platform, I think they should be okay with that, because for so long we've been stripped of that opportunity. You feel me? Even whether it comes to award shows, when it comes to anything of that nature, like
it makes people uncomfortable because they're not used to that kind of shit.
Yeah, they're not used to it. And now when you see people like the Diddy's making revolts, or like the Charlamagne's making their own networks, and they're putting those black voices in the forefront, you know what I'm saying? It's obviously a change. People most of the time don't like change because they're not used to it. But it's something that we want to see.
Yeah, and I think that, I agree on that, because it's one of those weird things to me where it's like, I guess how I think about it is just why, like, let me not say why, because I know why obviously, but it's like, how do you increase the comfortability for these people? Because it's like my thing is that, like, obviously I know the answer, but it's like we all know that we're coming to a situation where white people are becoming a minority, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's like, the issue is that they're still uncomfortable with that fact, and it's like we still have people like the Issa Raes and everyone else that are still putting in and showing us to be just authentically black without having any type of trauma, slavery, etc. And it's like, at what point why do you still feel uncomfortable, and how do we change that concept of them just being uncomfortable without having white people
change themselves
and just having just black people and things?
I don't think it's our job to make them feel comfortable, bro.
People got to be willing to change with anything. So motherfuckers ain't willing to open up and accept that shit. It ain't gonna change.
That's what I'm saying. Like I said, if you're not comfortable with the stuff that's being put in the shows like Issa Rae and things of that nature, don't watch it. 1, 2, I don't think it's Issa Rae's job to make someone else feel comfortable based on the content that she puts out, because she's making her content for a certain demographic of people, bro. The same way other content's made for certain demographics of people. Like, not everybody's gonna tune into the Face of the Future pod and like that shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
a fact.
Like what we tune into. So you don't have to subscribe to it, but if you subscribe to it, you subscribe to it. Because there's a bunch of stuff that people try to get me to listen to, watch, whatever, and I just don't resonate with it, so I don't tune in. Yeah, I'll check it out to see if I like it, but if I don't like what they're talking about, or if I'm not comfortable with the discussions they're having, I may still listen just to see a different perspective. But all in all, it's not their job to make me feel comfortable, because at the end of the day, their content isn't for me.
Facts.
And once people get that connotation, that idea that, oh, you're supposed to make stuff for me, so I'm gonna listen to it, then people will be all right. You feel me? But that's the way it is.
You're right, but my thing is that, this goes back to what America's problem is in general. It's like America's problem is that part of America's problem is that we have main character syndrome. Like, everything has to be about us. You know what I'm saying? And everything has to be about the majority. And it's like, when we come into this problem, like, even with media, it's like, yo, you're right, the content isn't for you. But the thing is like, what do, like, you have to, like, let's be honest. A lot of these white parents do get uncomfortable when their kids are bumping Travis Scott or even bumping Drake. And so it's like, how do these kids, like, how do we present this situation where these people
you look at Asteroid, it was mostly white kids.
people. And that's last week. That's why I said what I said. But it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, they don't make the content for us. But it's like, at a certain point, it's like, the thing is like, how do we make these people be willing to change? Because it's like, what's going to end up happening? I don't want another situation where we have another Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they just start burning shit down. You get what I'm saying? Because it's getting to that point, especially because it doesn't even have to be the fact that they can burn it down, because they're still going to hold most of the wealth. So it's like in a situation where you have the minorities as the majority now, but the new minority, which is white people, have all the wealth, they can sit here and financially kill us. So my thing is that you have to really understand and think like, what do we really do? Because now if we just say it's not for them, we just make our content, HBO could be like, well, Issa Rae, we're looking for a more conservative approach to HBO Max now, so we're going to have to end ties with you. Sorry. And it's like,
we don't need HBO. That's what the connotation we have to get out of our head, bro. We don't need.
Okay, so what is it? So how do we fix the issue with white people? And then so what do we move forward with next?
So with the fixing issue with white people, the conversation that you're having is like, it's not our issue to fix. Like, I'm gonna keep saying that over and over again. I don't think that it's our job to make someone feel comfortable in our culture, bro. If you subscribe to it the same way you talk about all these white kids being at the Travis Scott concert, there's obviously white people that are very comfortable in the setting of being around black people, bro.
That's fair.
We know plenty of them. And I'll say this over and over again. It is not our job to make them feel comfortable, bro.
Okay.
All we're presenting when black creators like us are having conversations or making movies or making televisions, we're creating content that is geared around our life experiences, what we see on a daily basis.
That's a fact.
You feel me? And it's no different when you have white producers, white directors, whatever, making videos and content that are from their perspective as a white person, bro. There's plenty of stuff where we get mad at. We talk about the trauma, the slavery, things of that nature. Yep. It's from perspective of one director, whatever. That's not us.
That's facts.
And that's why we complain about it, bro. And you hear people all the time saying, oh, when are they going to stop making this? When are they going to stop that? I don't feel comfortable watching this. I don't comfortable. Do you think they give a fuck about how we feel? No. So when we make content, why should we give a fuck about how anybody else feels, bro? We make content for the masses that go through the same thing that we go through on a daily basis. And that's why I'm so advocate about creating a network. You know what I'm saying? A network kind of speaks the truths of the people like us. You feel me? Having shows like this, we can have open dialogue and discussion that go through the perspective of people in our age demographic that look like us, feel like us, and it can resonate with the experiences that we go through. It's not my job to try to make it cookie cutter or dumb it down so somebody understands it, man. If you want to understand it, go do your research, bro. The same way they would say to us. It's not our job, bro. And I'll leave it at that. And then when it comes to like how do we address the situation if like an HBO cancels us or whatever? We have billionaires that are black now, bro. And we have people that are in positions to make shit happen. I think we have more people that are climbing the ladder, and I give credit to those people, like I said before, like Charlamagne's, the people like Diddy that are trying to make their own networks and push content. Maybe they're not doing it the right way at this point in time. I can't say they aren't, but they're still trying to navigate the space because they're the first ones that walk through the door. And we have to you talk about giving people grace. You have to give those people grace because they're the pioneers in those industries that are trying to open those doors. And when it comes down to it, we just have to believe that in good faith, at the end of the day, that the people that are at the top, the people that have that have that platform, that have the ability to go in and tell people, nah, this is not the way we're gonna do it. We'll reach back and grab people like us and bring us to the forefront because we're talking about shit that needs to be talked about, things that need to be heard, that things that you talk about are our truth. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you answer that question.
You're 100% right in what you're saying, because like we do have the billionaires, we do have the infrastructure, but I have always wondered about that it's like you are right, but then the thing is, what is taking so long for us to actually present information that is equally as entertaining and as truthful? Because I don't want another 12 Years a Slave. I don't want another Roots. I don't want another Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Like, I just want original content from African Americans that just allow us to be African Americans. Like, enough. I know Issa Rae's doing a great job. I'm not saying she's not, but I'm saying it's like, but Issa Rae shouldn't be the only one that's making the content that we all need to see. Like, it just doesn't make sense, especially when we know what the BS is in this country. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm looking at it. So you're right in that sense, and that's why I say it's just really interesting in terms of just media and things of that nature, and just having that type of conversation. Just because I don't know, man. It's a very slippery slope. It's a sticky one.
I agree. What do you think about it, Shann?
Media's weird, man. I mean, I'm just thinking about like. I feel like that was like kind of the same shit Dave Chappelle was saying. Everything you pretty much just said, bro. Especially with us living in a time now where everybody's so sensitive and privy to, you know, things that are being said. You like walking on eggshells with everything you're doing, including creating your content, until somebody like a Dave Chappelle comes along and doesn't give a fuck about some shit like that. You know, them the motherfuckers that people need to be looking up to and modeling their shit after, because he's honest, you know what I'm saying? And he's just keeping it real. And, you know, a lot of motherfuckers just got to be fake for they shit. And that's really what it comes down to. But you're right about the black billionaires, Millz. They need to be also behind all these black content creators and helping them push as well, you know?
And I think it's a fight, bro. At the end of the day, like, yeah, we have a couple of them that are in the space that are trying to do and make things shake, but we don't know the fight that's going on behind closed doors, because at the end of the day, we started off years behind. You know what I'm saying? And now that we have people in the door doing what they're supposed to do, it's not just going to happen. Like, when you talk about fighting media conglomerates like an HBO or a Disney, things of that nature, people that hold status and power and control those spaces, it's like it's an ongoing fight to get those type of things out of the way. Like, we look at a BET where it's supposed to be for us, but it's not even owned by somebody that looks like us.
Yeah.
It's owned by Viacom.
You feel me? So it's like, yeah, we have that illusion that we have networks that are for us, that show content that's for us at the end of the day, but they're still controlled by a higher power, whatever it is, that's going to push what they want to push out at the end of the day.
I'm still waiting for the BET Sports to come out. They should have all HBCUs on that shit.
They should.
Because you think about, like, you know, a lot of the funding that a lot of HBCUs face, TV contracts will help out a lot with that.
Yeah.
You know, TV contracts will help out a whole lot with that. So I'm still waiting for that to happen. I've been saying that for a couple of years.
It should have been happening, bro. I mean, the BT Sports, I don't know about that. I don't know why. Like, if that's like even in the plans.
I don't think so, because I never seen anything about it. It was just a thought that I had one day. You know, when I was thinking about HBCUs, and you know, a lot of them are troubling with money and funding, and which is, I mean, as an aside, like, you see the shit that goes on in some HBCU, like Howard,
yeah,
like how what their conditions are and shit like that.
Did we ever talk about that?
No,
we can talk about that in a little bit for sure. But I want to stay on. I want to stay on like this.
There's a lot of good black creators out there though. Issa Rae, what's the one that did Get Out, Candyman?
What's his name?
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele.
Him, another one is a good one.
Ryan Coogler.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the one that did?
I mean, John Singleton was good for a long time.
Yeah, R.I.P. John
Spike.
Singleton. Yeah. Spike's a very good one for sure. And then there's another one that just did. A
lot of Spike's messages.
What's his name? Nate Parker.
Are still relevant. Who?
Nate Parker. He did the Nat Turner video. The one.
Oh yeah.
I like him a lot. Yeah, I like him a lot. I mean. What's his name? Nate Parker. He has a lot of good films. I know he does like a lot of like historical movies. Ryan Coogler, he did Fruitvale Station, things of that nature.
I like those historical movies though.
Yeah.
Like 12 Years a Slave, you said earlier. I like that. That's one of my favorite movies. I like that movie.
Yeah,
it's a good story.
It was a good story. I just guess my whole thing was that like the whole conversation that I don't like having all the time. It's the very typical like, okay, we have black people history of said trauma mixed in with white settlers or white people loving, white people care, all this other stuff. Like this concept of like we go through the struggle and then somehow, some way, the white people show us some type of sympathy, or there's a sympathetic person throughout the whole trauma that these white people gave to us, and then it ends up just being, oh yeah, this happened, and black people kind of move forward in history. I'm kind of tired of it. It's kind of
no, I get what you're saying. It's definitely, you know. There's enough of those movies out there, I think.
Yeah.
For us to be good on them.
But the reason I bring up Issa Rae a lot is because, I mean, her show Insecure.
You a fan of that?
Huh?
You a fan of her show?
Insecure?
Yeah.
For sure.
I love her show.
I love Insecure 100% because it's real, bro.
It is real.
It's black love, bro. And it's like, I think all of us can resonate it in some way. Like all the stuff that goes on in like the relationship that she shows throughout the whole series is real life shit, bro. And I think her show, and then who else? Donald Glover too, as well. like with
Atlanta,
bro. It's like even though he has humor, bro, it's, everybody down there really. I listened to some people that are from Atlanta. They said, "Oh, that shit be going on, bro."
Mm-hmm.
And he's tapped into what's really going on. So I think we have creators like that are literally leading the way, bro. That are pushing that narrative and pushing to change that narrative forward, bro. So it's a matter of just like now we have to come together as such. You feel me? And I don't know.
People got to buy in, bro.
Yeah, I think people are buying in though. I think it's like we're in the beginning stages of a media revolution when it comes to like the stories that we all hate that we just talked about,
Right?
Aren't being told anymore, bro.
Right.
It's the success stories of the black businessman, of the successful relationship. There's not the failed black relationship because the black man did the black woman dirty, or vice versa, such and such cheating or abusing, whatever it is. It's like we're pushing those narratives of the real life positive things that are happening, and I think that needs to continue to be done. And all we can do, in my bad, all we can do in my perspective is play a part in that and continue to push that forward. And even if all of our discussions aren't positive, we can still give a positive perspective that people that can attach to and either say, I agree with this or I don't agree with that, but I understand this perspective because I've been through that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's where I'm at with that. I mean, I don't know how y'all feel about
facts,
that.
right?
That's
I'm
exactly
right there
where I'm
with
at
you.
it.
Yeah, I mean, do y'all feel as though, like, the people that are in those positions of power, like the Jays and Puffs and the people that we don't see that are in media, are fighting behind the scenes?
They're definitely trying. They all got their own sort of companies that are kind of pushing that, so I think they're trying. But at the end of the day, you know, they got people they got to answer to as well.
Yeah.
You know, which is why they're trying to start their own shit. So I mean, it's just gonna take time, bro.
Yeah.
It's gonna take time.
And with the media conglomerates, I want to, before we jump into like the song of the day, do you think there will be I want to call it a black version of Disney, but someone that's going to get to that point of that magnitude where they have actual control of like the media space? Because at the end of the day, it's about what's the word I'm looking for? It's about market share. At the end of the day, that's the word of the day, market share. You got to have, because Disney has a lot of market share. All the TV shows we see,
And they own a lot of companies. They own
a
ESPN.
lot of companies, media. Yeah, and I shout out to Julian for putting on the show called Succession, because that's all it's about. Is that these big wigs behind the scene are fighting over market share in the media, buying all these companies, this and that. They don't want their company dropped because they want to control the narrative that's on television, bro.
Yeah.
And I feel like,
I mean, even like the music industry is only really owned by like 3 major companies, right? Sony's one, and there's 2 more that I can't think of name, but everything else falls under those 3 companies that own everything. You know what I mean? So it's like, dang.
and who owns those? There's one brand, we just said it, Disney, bro.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah, Disney is powerful, bro. So you saying is somebody ever going to be on a Walt Disney level? I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know if anybody can reach those heights. Not in our lifetime.
Disney's big brother, for real.
Yeah, Disney's big brother, and at the end of the day, you got to go through them. But I feel as though
They finna bring Walt Disney back.
I'm
you
screaming.
think he in the time chamber?
He's somewhere,
He's
bro.
frozen.
Whole
Isn't he?
thing is sketchy, bro. They about to bring him back in December or something like that next month.
He is not. That boy is in the dirt, bruh. But he
They
built.
froze him.
Yeah, they frozen.
You think they froze Michael Jackson too?
No, that nigga dead.
All right. I'm just asking.
Is he? Yo, I be seeing so many crazy conspiracy theory things on
no.
TikTok,
Oh, no.
and I be having to stop watching them shits because they be fucking me up. I'm like, yo, these coincidences are crazy. I'm like, I can't not get wrapped up in this.
So is Tupac alive?
I don't know.
Oh my god. Let's go to the song of the day, please.
You think he done up?
Yes.
Tupac done?
Nigga's dead.
Yeah. I mean,
Where would he be? Why would he fake
True.
his death though?
yeah. I just said
You know,
I don't
man.
know, bro. I wasn't alive when that joint happened. I mean, I was legit, but
We was young bulls.
I mean, I wasn't. I don't. It is what it is. I mean,
Yeah, I don't got a
R.I.P.
response on that
Tupac.
one.
You feel me? But yeah, I mean, my hope would be that there becomes a media conglomerate. It could be us. It could be NBT Network that become that big. But I hope there is a media company that gets to a magnitude where they have a large enough market share where we can have our voices pushed to the magnitude that these other voices are being pushed. That's my hope and dream, because you know what I'm saying, we talk about the gun violence, we talk about the drugs, we talk about all this other stuff that's being pushed in front of the children's faces, the kids' faces, and things of that nature. It's all because
Oh
the
man,
people.
these kids got it bad.
Yeah, it's all because the powers that be want that to be in front of those people's faces, bro.
Yeah,
And
bro.
and that trickles down and changes the way everything else operates, bro.
Mm-hmm.
The way people think. You talk about Kyle Rittenhouse. He was influenced by some shit that he's seen in the media.
He's a young bull too.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like that all plays a part. But let's get into the Faces of the Future song of the day, presented by MBT Network. Follow us on everywhere where you can subscribe, podcast, Spotify, Apple. You know the deal. Click that subscribe button. On YouTube, MBT Network. Click that big red subscribe button. Make sure you follow. Leave us a review. Leave us comments. Tell us all the content that you want us to see and present in the future. The Faces of the Future song of the day comes from a rising artist that I've become a fan of just from listening to some interviews that he's had. And just his music is just energy, bro. The song of the day comes from SSG Kobe, and the song is Thrax. Once again, this is SSG Kobe, Thrax. Once again, that was SSG Kobe, Thrax. Check him out. He's a rising young bull coming up. I forget where he's from, but his music will go crazy. What you think about that shit?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
That's a little turn up, John.
Yeah, and I meant to ask you, how was that St. John concert?
Oh, man.
I forgot to ask you about
Yo,
that.
you already know. St. John, bro. He ain't disappoint. He a performer, bro. He a performer.
Where was that at?
It was at Franklin Music Hall.
Okay.
It used to be the Electric Factory, I think, in Philly. And then he had opened up for him was Tyler Yaway. He's fire too.
Tyler Yaway is fire.
He was perfect opener.
Okay.
Had us in our bad. They had the open bar, not the open bar, but they had the bar there. There's 2 floors. You know what I'm saying? Was there. My girl and her best friend flew out. Jamar was with us with his girls. Ronnie popped out. You know what I'm saying? It was a nice little vibe, bro. But St. John, he always performs. You know what I'm saying? I wish it was longer. It felt a little short, but I don't know if that was because of like the pandemic shit or whatever it is. But he did a quick, I think it was like 45 to an hour set. The first concert I went to him in 2019. It was a little. I think it was like an hour and a half performance. It felt like, but. I mean, he getting bigger and bigger now. He bigger and bigger, bro. And it's like that joint was packed.
What was your favorite concert y'all been to?
Concert?
No cap, bro. I swear to God, when we was young boys in high school, bro, I went to Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, and Rick Ross when they were in their fucking prime.
Y'all used to go to concert. Y'all used to be concert goers
all the time.
I wasn't really a concert boy like that.
At the fucking Wells Fargo Center, I think Rick Ross opened. No, Travis Barker opened up. No. Iggy Azalea opened up when she was nobody.
That's
she
crazy.
still is.
And everybody was booing her. They was booing the shit out of her.
Rightfully.
Then Travis Barker came on, shut the shit down. Then Ross came. Then Lil Wayne. Then Nicki Minaj. And Lil Wayne came back and did the rest of his shit. One of the best concerts I've ever been to in my life.
Yeah.
Okay.
The shit was fire.
I think when J. Cole dropped 2014 Forest Hills Drives, which was the Camden Waterfront, that was like my first like real big concert I went to, bro, and I was just like,
Concerts are such a good time.
I was like, that's when I became like a Cole fan. As much as Moose hates Cole, you know what I'm saying?
I don't hate Cole. I just hate how y'all gas that nigga. But
Just Wale's better. That's why.
no, I said him and Wale the same rapper.
I mean, they're in the same.
So, what's the
avenue,
best
for sure.
concert you've been to, Moose?
It was actually Division concert.
I ain't been to Division, but my girl
That's
said
probably
Division
a vibe.
was like that.
That was when the Morning After came out, his second album.
How many babies were made that night? You think?
It was a vibe, huh?
That had to be. I stand by this. There are like probably like 2 or 3 albums that I say are like great performed and great on paper. It's The Morning After by Division and Party Next Door 2. Those are the only 2 albums that I think like R&B wise, like niggas not touching those albums.
They said what's his name? The what's his name? Daniel.
Yeah.
They said he's like that live.
No, he is.
They said he's like
he's
that.
He's like that, bro. That
Yeah.
had to be the best concert I
And
went
then
to.
also, side note, just legendary shit. I saw Prince perform before he passed away. Like,
That's
fire.
what's up.
yeah, like it was at the Essence Festival. My mom and my auntie was going crazy. I'm like, man, I felt that was back in like the 80s when they was like, oh my God, Prince. I'm like, dang, this how y'all was acting back in the day. Glad I wasn't alive. But yeah,
I'm screaming.
If there was one concert I could have went to, who would it be? All time.
Right
Jackson.
now,
Well, that's the obvious.
but you asked me who
That's the obvious,
If I
though.
could see
Yeah.
Mike Jack perform just to see, like, because I know his shows are probably like amazing.
Yeah.
He's one of them artists that literally probably pay attention to every detail of
Facts.
his set. You know?
yeah,
Like,
know
he's
all
one
the
of
dance.
those.
Give me 5. Give me 5 people or groups.
All right. I wish I could have saw Michael Jackson perform. I wish I could have went to a DMX concert. I wish I could have Biggie. I want to see what a Biggie concert is like. And Tupac, bro. Those are the ones that that are like passed away. I wish I could like seen just because of their aura and the magnitude and how big of stars
and the vibes.
and the vibes, bro. Like
I'm looking through my shit right now because I actually don't know.
maybe Bob Marley too.
Mine would be the Ozzy Brothers, Marvin Gaye. I would love to see Marvin Gaye live in concert. I mean, I know the vibes and that motherfucker probably crazy.
Vibes. You talking about baby?
That's what I'm
baby.
saying. I gotta throw Queen in the mix just because it's Queen and it's Freddie Mercury. It's crazy vocals.
And they made a movie about
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
Hove, like a young Hove.
Oh, young Hove. Okay.
Like a young Hove.
Okay.
And obviously Michael Jackson. That's like the obvious. That's like the top of the list.
Yeah.
Because I know this show is probably fucking crazy.
You know, it's probably ridiculous, bro.
Yeah, probably fucking crazy.
I knew shit was real when I seen that clip of him in the Super Bowl.
Just standing there.
We just stood there, bro.
And niggas was losing their
for
fucking
10
minds.
minutes straight, and they was going crazy. Oh my god!
Yo.
Like, screaming at the top of their lungs, and he turned his head the opposite direction, and somebody they just dropped like flies.
Worldwide.
Like, that's
he's out there casting a spell on motherfuckers.
Yeah,
I got it now.
What's up?
I would want to see Fela Kuti. I just have to. Fela Kuti's Fela Kuti. I would like to have seen. He just came off the top of my head. Damn, what's his name? Just saw him. I'd like to see. Actually, I saw Lauryn Hill already. I would want to see Outkast live.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. That's a good one for sure.
Live, and I actually was trying to get tickets to Firefly Festival. It didn't happen. I was sick. Who else? I would like to see. Like, I would only like to see certain people in certain eras, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
So like, I would have liked to have seen. I would like to have seen Miguel. Miguel when he came out with Kaleidoscope Dream.
Ooh, speaking my language now, dog.
That would have been crazy.
Oh my god,
and then
that album is crazy.
That album goes stupid. And then what am I on? 3-4?
Yeah,
I would have liked to have seen. I would like to have seen 4 would be Lupe during the Cool era. The Cool era for me, because Cool is like one of the greatest albums ever created. And then 5. I will go on a limb. I would definitely have liked to have seen. I mean, obviously Michael Jackson, but that's a gimme. But I'll just throw Michael Jackson in there because I was trying to do one without Mike. But
one more for me, that was Earth, Wind, and Fire.
I got one. I was about to say this last one. When Motown was at their peak,
Mm-hmm.
they used to perform with all their artists there. Like a Motown like show in the prime, bro.
Yeah,
would probably be like
that shit crazy.
It'd probably be like no other. Bro.
Yo,
like, that's after I watched that documentary, bro. I was like, yo,
there's a documentary about that.
About Motown? Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you.
Yeah, send that to me.
It's like that.
It's on Netflix?
I think it is. It might be.
I need to watch that.
It's something like that. It's in Netflix or Amazon, one of the two. But my point was like how much talent they had in them. And this is when like Stevie Wonder was young, Mike was young, all of them, bro, and they had like
Temptations.
What's
Bobby Womack.
All of them and the women.
Diana Ross
and all of them, bro. It's like they were all in one building, a little room like this, just making hits, bro. And this is like, bro,
yo, they was really in there cooking, bro.
Don't get me started on music nowadays, bro, because that whole artist, the thing that I realized about back then and what they took pride in was the artist development, bro. They wasn't putting out no BS, bro.
Not only was it the artist development, but my grandfather always talked to me about the musicianship of the fucking music. Like you cannot. These are fucking live bands that are recording these fucking notes. You listen to the talent of the motherfuckers on the guitars and the pianos and the drums, like. Them motherfuckers was in there cooking, bro.
Nice.
That's why I appreciate that music so much, because it's all musicianship. Like, these are all live bands playing. This ain't no fucking sample. We ain't sampling shit.
Yeah.
You know, we playing live fucking music. Everybody in the studio, high as shit.
Facts.
Cooking up, bro.
And then on top of that, because I know how much you like love Marvin Gaye. It's like that they did a whole like on the documentary, they did a whole like segment about like when he was I think he was trying to do his solo album by himself. Like in like Motown, I think at the time they wanted to have a hand in it. He was like, nah, like I want to like expand myself. Y'all got me to this point. And they did a breakdown of how you talk about musicianship. This man was
Marvin
on
Gaye,
a whole different level,
whole nother level, bro.
I was like, wow.
He's my favorite artist of all time.
Wow, bro. Like,
if you go back and put on his "I Want You" album, I'm trying to get it on vinyl. I want to get it on vinyl so I could play it on a record player, and just like the musicianship. And like his fucking voice, I don't even know what it is about Bull, but he was just fucking talented, bro.
Yeah.
You hear? I think it's also like the music back then made you like really, really feel something, bro.
The lyrics, because these motherfuckers were talking that shit.
You could feel like what these motherfuckers was going.
They was talking that shit, bro, and these motherfuckers was smooth.
I get it.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, but like that whole era, bro. I don't know. I could probably name about 10 different people from the era that I want to see or just even just have conversations with, bro, in general. And before we jump into our big topic for this episode, since we're on the music, and you speak about musicianship, who do you think who are your top 3 like greatest musicians of all time? Like I'm talking like vocals plus like musicianship.
Stevie Wonder got to be on the list because he plays every instrument.
Yeah.
He's on there for sure.
I think Stevie might be the top one.
Yeah, he might be the top one that could do it all.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, for me, one from today, Anderson .Paak.
Yep, he's up there.
He also could play all the instruments, and he can sing, and he can rap. I would have to think about a third, but those 2 come to my head first.
I got Stevie. I got Fela Kuti because Fela Kuti's Fela Kuti. Y'all niggas don't understand how much I love that nigga.
But most artists play also instruments as well.
Yeah, a lot of artists do play instruments. Like, a lot
not
of
to
them
the
play
magnitude of the people that we name, and that's what I'm trying to say. Though, like even if you got like Prince, bro, like and that, you know what I'm saying, like musicianship, bro. You talking like
maybe Quincy.
Oh yeah, he's different.
Yeah,
producer wise,
yeah, and he plays all the instruments too,
bro. It's just crazy.
Yeah,
but yeah, let's jump into the main topic of the day. Toby, you want to lead us off and tell us what we're about to jump into?
Why do I gotta lead it off?
Because this is a discussion. You know what I'm saying? That's
what you brought up.
That I disagreed with.
Yeah.
What's his name? Okay, so
you want to play the audio first so we can listen to the clip?
Yeah, sure. So Jerry Flower Jr. had posted a video up on TikTok that I'll just play it.
Off of compatibility just by itself can be a trap. Because first off, you can be compatible with a demon. Like devils know what you like too. The type of women that you like, you want her to have more curves in the highway. The type of man that you like, you want him tall with broad shoulders and a beard. The enemy could send you pain gift wrapped as your preference. So that's just the first thing about how compatibility can be a trap. The second thing is compatibility is season based. It is possible for you to be compatible with the season of their struggle, but not the season of their success. I want somebody who's gonna be there for me if I hit rock bottom. Well, what if they can only handle your rock bottom, but they can't handle your upward season? So now the question becomes, are we really compatible, or do we just share similar dysfunction? We're both broken in the same area. We're both wounded over the same things. We have the same feelings over the same wounds, so we end up sharing hearts. But what happens if one of you heals and the other one doesn't? Because just because you heal doesn't mean that they're gonna heal, and just because you heal doesn't mean that you can make them heal. What happens if one of you heal? You will remove what y'all had in common. And I want us to be so whole and so secure that when we heal, we don't end up feeling guilty because they're crawling, but we now have wings. It's not just about compatibility, it's about suitability. Does this individual suit my assignment well? Do they complement what it is that God has me doing in earth while I'm here in time? When a man or a woman has found that, that's a blessing. Because when God gives a blessing, you're not gonna
You done with them already?
Yes.
You would have let the
Who is that guy? Was he a preacher?
Yeah, John Flower
Honestly, I'm not
Flower
so
Jr.,
closely.
bro.
So
What are your thoughts before I dissect this whole nonsense that he said?
there's a lot of stuff on there I agree with, to be honest.
Okay.
Like in talking about, like, for the most part, the majority of stuff he's saying, I mean, I don't think he's wrong about it in his perspective and the way he says it. Like, when he's talking about some people are only like you for the certain season that you're in.
Definitely.
That's facts. Because some people, I'll say this, some people, like, they can deal with you when you're at a certain level, but when you get to that next level or whatever, they can't deal with maybe like everybody loving you and pulling from you, and because that pulls from maybe what they had with you, because now you're in a different phase of your life. You know what I'm saying? I mean, do you not agree with that part?
It's not just about that.
So what don't you? Let's say what don't you agree with?
It's the concept of what he's trying to. How do I say this? The only reason why, so weirdly enough, another Mike Todd video had dropped from TikTok, and basically he says something along those same lines, but he was basically saying, like, there's no dating in the Bible. It's true. And basically he was saying that basically what people are doing nowadays is basically practicing divorce, right? And so why that kind of irritated me was because he started talking about certain things and bringing it back to John Flower really quickly. Like my biggest issue with what John Flower was saying is just more so about like that's not a compatibility thing. Like there could be someone that you hate that you can be compatible with. And I think that one of the biggest things that a lot of people don't understand is that this is where the biggest problem is for me with churches and dating. It's like we kind of try to put everything in this church dating thing, but you also have to understand that dating and marriage, as while they are Christian concepts, there are some concepts in those environments that aren't 100% Christian that make the marriage work. And so when you look at like what he's saying is like, oh, you have someone who's in the down season, they can't handle you when you're up. Part of that isn't necessarily a situation where that's just compatibility. That's just more so of a situation where you're not vetting somebody properly. And it's like, it is, because it's like,
I don't know.
Because think
Say
about
that
it
one more
this.
time.
It's like if you're saying that, oh, if you're compatible with somebody who's when you're in the down season, but then when you're in the up season, you're not compatible with them. You can't just switch compatibility with people.
Yes,
like,
you can.
no,
Yes, you can.
no. There's a difference between saying your values change and saying that you're not compatible. You can be compatible with somebody and just have a working marriage where you guys are very, very both good at managing kids, but there's no love in the marriage. You're still compatible. So my
Compatible
thing,
in what sense though?
but that's what I'm trying to say. It's like when you talk about compatibility, what you're saying, to how I look at compatibility is that when two people are compatible, or when you're compatible with something, it's just it works and it kind of clicks. You can be compatible with somebody that you hate. It's possible. And what I'm saying is that
explain how you can be compatible with somebody that you hate.
Because compatibility isn't necessarily about feelings. Compatibility is that it works in a system that you need.
Hate somebody, you shouldn't be with them.
But what I'm saying,
we're talking about in a relationship. How can you be compatible with somebody that you?
But that's
hate?
not But if you're in a relationship with somebody that you're compatible with, that means that you guys are in a situation where it's not just compatibility; it's just values aligned. Like when your values align, that doesn't necessarily. When your values align, it just aligns, and certain things work better. Some things may just not be compatible. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like the word the word compatibility to me in this situation is being used in a very, very weird sense, especially because he said you can be compatible with the demon, and he started looking at a bunch of physical things that he's trying to say is compatible, but it's not. That's just
the same
attraction.
shit you say.
People look for that shit though,
but that's
and
a
go for it
preference.
just because.
That's a preference.
But you can
That
be
is
compatible
preference.
with that, bro. Like in terms of like that's the same stuff that you preach on the pod on a daily, bro. About you even alluded to that last week about people can like such and such because the way they look or whatever it is. He said it. I think it's just you don't like his supporting arguments, but it's the same. It's one and the same of the same stuff you talk about on the pod.
But I'm saying that because you're using the wrong word. You're using the wrong words and the wrong terms to now sit here and justify what you're trying to say.
I disagree.
You
can be, bro. What he was saying is that what people. All right, say you're looking for this woman that is, like he said, curvy, whatever it is, and that's what you're looking for, and you think that's what I want. That's what's gonna make me happy in a relationship. I'm compatible. These are my needs, and this is what I want. Boom. You get to that point, and you have that, right? And you realize, all right, it's not what it is. It's not what it's saying to be. You know what I'm saying? So you're saying this is everything that I think I'm compatible with until you get to that point, and it's not that. That's why you say you can be compatible with a demon. You don't realize that person's a motherfucking demon to you in that motherfucking relationship with him. But you think, all right, this is what you talk about alignment. That's what I want. Until I get that, bro. And the same thing in the same sentence when he talks about changing seasons and people not being compatible, people can act totally different when they reach a certain level of success or whatever it is, and they won't act the same as the same when they're on the ground. You can still be compatible with that person when they're on the ground because, like you said, their values and this and that are a certain way, but when those values might change, whatever, when they grow. So you grow out of compatibility with them, so you're not in that same season.
You can still be compatible. But what I'm trying to say is that how he's trying to make it. If I say this, I gotta like give the whole context of what I'm trying to say.
So give the context.
Like I'm trying to say this from a standpoint of one. I like. Yes, when you look at compatibility at its core, yes, if you get what you want physically, emotionally, spiritually, yeah, you're compatible because it's what you want. But at the same time, it's like, say, for example, you may have dated somebody that, in a sense, may not have been compatible for you, maybe physically, if we're using the word compatible. But if you're looking at it from the grand scheme of things of what you need for a marriage to work, she just may be compatible in the grand scheme of things.
That made no sense to me.
It does. Like, think about it like this, right? What is a non-negotiable for you?
You said what is non-negotiable?
Yeah, in a relationship for you.
Stepping outside the marriage or relationship.
Okay. So if
Let's see where we go with this, but yeah, that's non-negotiable.
okay, if you use that as a non-negotiable, okay, well that's kind of iffy because it's like that's
I was about to say don't reach.
I'm
not reaching about it because it's like that's more so. How do I? Because I'm trying to say this in the sense of, I guess what I'm trying to say is that you have to understand that like you can be compatible with somebody and there could just be some things and traits that they have that you may not agree with.
That's going to be with everybody though.
But that's the point of what I'm saying. You're not.
Too.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not always accountability. It's just certain things align. Like certain things just work. Like some things just value.
Make them work.
Like, and that's what I mean. Some things are just value. So my thing is that some things are just value and what you want. Like when he was talking about, oh, she has nice curves, she has this, that's a want. Like if you got a girl, I'm not skinny shaming, whatever. If you got a girl that don't have no ass, no titties, she's probably unattractive to most people, but she is a rider. She a ride or die. She do a lot of things that you would need to make your house happy. Would you not say in a lot of cases you would still be technically compatible with her?
Yeah, you are.
Why not?
But then my thing is that because she doesn't have the stuff that you want physically or maybe sometimes spiritually or some of those things emotionally, she's technically not compatible, is she not?
Well,
how would she not be
technically
compatible?
should ever be with somebody that you're not at all physically attracted to?
But that's what I mean.
Not going to work.
But that's what I mean, though. My thing is that, like, when you look at that's the point of what I'm trying to say. It's like when it comes to people talking about compatibility, you have to take out emotions and just look at, okay, what is the need and what is the core values that align. That's when you know you're compatible with somebody.
Why would you take out emotions when emotions are
because sometimes because you have to understand that marriage is sometimes. The feelings go away in marriage. Sometimes the feelings go away in relationships. There's not always going to be I'm in love with you 24/7. That's not always the case. So what I'm saying is that when you get to that point, right, and this is where I said that the situation comes in. You may be in a space where you're growing differently, right, but your values are still the same. She may be growing in a different way and her values are still the same. You guys are still technically compatible because you still have the same values, but y'all just have two completely different alignments on other things.
So you're not compatible with each other.
But that's not true.
That is most of the time.
Bro,
most of the time. All right, listen to this.
Okay.
Most of the time in the relationships, right? Mm-hmm. Like you just said, you're not physically attracted to someone or whatever. You have kids or whatever, so you try to make shit work. Most of the time, what happens in those types of relationships?
That depends.
No, what happens in those type of relationships?
But that depends.
No. The majority of the time, when the physical presence isn't there, you're not happy sexually, emotionally, whatever it is, but you have children whenever you're compatible because you're making shit work, like you said. What happens in those relationships?
But that
one
depends.
person steps out
Yeah,
the majority of the time,
but
bro.
that depends on the person. Because no, it's not. Because think about it. Let's look at Will Smith then. Let's take Will Smith.
That's a terrible example.
It's not.
That is a terrible.
It's not.
How?
Because it brings my argument. Will wants to stay in the marriage. Jada wants to stay in the marriage because they would have broken up by now. Let's call it what it is.
They said there was a point where they did break up.
But what I'm saying, they would have divorced. And what I'm saying is that Will,
the reason they didn't divorce is because they got too much bread on the line. The majority, to be real.
But do you know that?
Bro, that's the real spill, bro.
But the point is
they had a whole red table talk about this conversation. There was a point where they were not fucking with each other.
I understand that. I understand that. But
that's why I said the majority of the time when that type of thing happens, one person steps out, or both of them step out.
And they're still together. Why? Because their values still align. At the end of the day, they both value money.
They're life partners.
No, it's not.
That's what they said.
But what I'm saying, though, is that their values of what they want, which is they want to be on a journey with somebody that allows them to be happy, that's still a value. Whether or not they find each other attractive is not.
They weren't happy, though.
But what I'm saying, bro. But look at what I'm saying, though. At the end of the day, they stayed together and they figured it out and they're happy.
Well, you're married. You should work through some shit like that.
But this is what I'm saying, though, bro. Like some things, they're just not. Some things in marriage are not going to be 100% compatible.
That's not what we're saying.
But
that's not what we're saying.
But that's the point of what, and that's what I got from him. What he's trying to say, what he's trying to say is that you have to understand that you have to be 100% compatible with somebody. And the reality of the situation is in marriages, like compatibility, just because you're how do I say this? Depending on what you're looking at, not everything is a deal breaker, and it means that you're not compatible and you have to break up. Be honest. Sex is important in a relationship or a marriage.
For sure.
But is sex the end all be all? If you ain't have sex in like 2-3 weeks, but y'all both busy because y'all know the compatibility is y'all both need to get to the bag, it's not that big of a deal if you ain't had sex in 3 weeks. Now, if you add other nuances where someone's avoiding sex or someone's doing something different, that's when you say, okay, that's an issue. That's why I'm saying, like, you have to understand when people talk about compatibility and values, it's like there's a whole bunch of nuances that you're going to say before you say, oh, yeah, we're not compatible or this. Because now it goes back to what Michael Todd said. You just making people just want to get a divorce. And you gotta understand, and this is the concept what I was trying to say, because I'll be real quick. Like, the biggest problem with the church is that a lot of people in church don't really know the difference between a preacher being a preacher and a preacher being a teacher. And a lot of times when preachers are preaching, which is what John Flower was doing, they say a lot of things that sound good and that sound slick. But when you really sit down and think about it, some of that stuff don't add up. But now when you're teaching somebody something, for example, I'm using the Bible. If you use the Bible, let's use Ruth, for example. Everybody loves talking about Ruth, but everybody uses Ruth as this concept of, you have to be this marvelous woman. You have to be this Proverbs 31 woman. But it's like, there's a lot of stuff you're not teaching people. You know what I'm saying?
I think we got two totally different things out of this message. Like, I feel as when I first listened to the message, I'm thinking, the thing I got out of it is like, you got to find somebody that's willing to go through the ups and downs with. That's what I got out of that shit. That's what I got. I didn't get that whole underlying church this, church that. I think he was the message he was trying to give off based on the audio that I heard on yes, there may be a deeper level to the church and what you're going into, but what I got out of what that thing said was like, you gotta, when it comes to compatibility or whatever, you gotta find someone that's willing to go through them ups and downs with you, bro. That's gonna be able to be there when you at your lowest and not switch upon you when you're at your highest because shit changes. That's what I got out of the conversation.
And what I'm saying is that if you're looking at it from that standpoint, yeah, I agree.
That's how I am looking at it.
But I'm not looking at it from that because I understand what a lot of these preachers are doing. Like, a lot of these preachers, a lot of people are not looking at it. That's what I was saying. Like, he's preaching. Like, he's saying something that's slick. So people are like, you know what? I like him. Let me go listen to him. Mike Todd does it all the time. But when you're legitimately teaching the context of, like, what it means for courtship, marriage, all these different things, a lot of the whole concept of compatibility, a lot of the concept of you're practicing for divorce, that shit goes out the window. And a lot of people don't understand that because it's like, I'm gonna throw it out there. A lot of these churches and a lot of these preachers are saying a lot of things so they can get that money. And it goes to a particular demographic that we're not going to touch on because we're going to be here for another 2 hours. But the point is, what I'm saying is that they say things that are slick because they know it pulls on certain emotions that'll make people want to go and attend a church. I'm not jumping into that conversation right now, but I'll be 100% honest.
He said all that to get people to come to his church.
Bro, put it like this.
What do you... Put it like what? They don't want to hear his thoughts.
Put it like this.
I want to hear Shann's thoughts.
Have you listened to Mike Todd talk about relationships?
No. I haven't listened to none. That's what I'm saying.
Anybody talk about relationships,
I just want to take the clip that we listened to and get your thoughts. I understand there's an underlying thing because obviously you're more into like the church and things like that go on in the church, that type of thing. I understand what you're saying from that point. But I was speaking on what was said in the context of compatibility when it comes to finding the right person. And I agree that you could be compatible with somebody that ain't right for you, bro.
What I took from what he said was kind of like what Millz said. I think what he's trying to say is people are valuing the wrong things when they're looking for a relationship. You know, you need to figure out what your real priorities are. You don't have to have the fucking girl with all the curves, like he said, to fucking be happy, which is what a lot of people get fucked up. That person you're usually not compatible with because you usually aren't on the same page, people that live that sort of lifestyle. That's what I took out of from what he was trying to say.
I mean, yeah, you're right on that, but even with that, that's still that goes back to the whole thing that we've talked about, though. It's like, if you want something, like, you also have to play the game to get what you want.
Yeah, but we all want a lot of shit. I mean, I want $1 million. That doesn't mean I fucking
but I'm talking about specifically in dating. It's like the biggest problem with a lot of people sometimes is that some people kind of want something and they don't want to change to get what they actually really want.
You're never going to get everything that you want.
Yeah, it's not going to be 100% perfect. But that's the reason why I was saying the whole concept of what he was saying is like you're using physical attributes to say that you're compatible with somebody, but that's not really compatibility. That's just really more a physical, like you're more physically attracted to somebody. Like you can, like, I'm not going to jump in.
That's what he was saying.
But what I'm saying is that you cannot be. But what I'm saying is that you can also find somebody that you're not 100% physically attracted to, and you could still be 100% compatible with them, but the sexual attraction may not be the level 10 that you are expecting.
Isn't that what he kind of
said?
Though?
Yeah, it is, and people are also attracted to people not just like physically. Like there could be other things that makes someone else very attractive to you. It doesn't always have to be physical
mental,
looks.
you know what I'm saying?
The vibe, the looks, the conversations, that could all make that person to you a fucking 10.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree on that. But I guess where I'm coming from with it is that, like I said, I had looked at it from a different angle. Yeah, like if you want to look at it from, you want to find somebody that you can go through ups and downs with. Yeah, but that's more so about developing a lot of other attributes rather than just saying you're 100% compatible with somebody. Because it's like those types of things require patience. That also requires communication, things of that nature. And it's like, if you want to use the word compatible, yeah, but there could be people that you may not just communicate with, but they just get it and you guys just work. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. It's never about, it's obviously, it was about the church thing, but also understand it's like
a lot about the church.
Like the dating, the concept with dating is that there's a lot more nuances than people think, and it's you can't just throw the word compatibility because a girl got fat ass or whatever, and it's whatever, and it's just you guys aren't compatible. Like that's I guess what I'm trying to say.
I feel you on that. That was good. That was a healthy discussion, but yeah, I mean, all in all, there's a lot in the date. Like you said last episode, the streets is scary. The streets is scary, and it is what it is. But I want to jump into our last thing of the episode real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. Ye and Drake, they ended their beef. How y'all feel about that?
Oh, yo, that shit looked like it was the most fucking lit party of all fucking time, bro. Dave Chappelle got on the mic, started talking his shit. Like when I sent y'all that to the Instagram, we used to say, I wish I was in the building for whatever.
That boy said, I said, yo, that boy lit.
He lit up, bro.
Yeah, they look like they got both punished. They look like
little kids that got punished. Yeah. When they were standing there, Jay Prince in front of the crib, and Jay Prince was like, anytime he does this,
we just know.
That boy. I mean, I'm glad. I mean, they squashed it, whatever it was. But I mean,
they ain't really squash it, bro.
I mean, I'm saying
after that Larry Hoover concert, they gonna
maybe there's really no beef.
That's what I'm trying to say. Maybe you talk about publicity.
Yeah, it's good that it looked like that, but I guarantee you, after that Larry Hoover concert, someone will say something to somebody and they're gonna start beefing again.
You think so?
Bro.
You think it's going to be on forever?
It's not going to be on forever, but it's just like it's Drake and Kanye are the same nigga.
In what sense?
They both extremely petty and they're both very emotional.
I won't disagree with
and
that.
And they both hold grudges. So it's like they're going like just because Jay Prince came in, they just doing it so because they know how Jay Prince rock. Like they just saying that they just doing that just to do that. When Jay Prince out the picture, one of them niggas gonna say something. Some gonna have behind the scenes, and then this is gonna
they probably always have an
underlying like tension,
rivalry.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That'll never go away,
without a doubt. And then I'm just happy that the deluxe drop for Donda. I mean that Andre 3000 record was hard. You feel me? Minus whoever edited that joint with the little beeps in it though to cut the. I ain't like that joint. I ain't like it, but
3 stacks.
But the record was solid at the end of the day. 3 stacks. I need a new project from you.
Facts.
He's never come out with another project.
Please just give me an Outkast album.
It's not happening.
I'll be good. Just give me one.
It's not happening.
You know y'all can retire forever. You feel me?
Y'all know it's not happening.
But it could.
It might not. It's probably never gonna happen.
Respectfully. Oh, y'all tuned in. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, man.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Spend time with your families.
Eat all the food, all the goodies. Don't put them nasty plates
please don't do that.
Don't put no nasty plates on the ground.
I don't want to see no fucking green bean casserole. None of y'all fucking pictures.
Yo, if your food look dry, don't put it up there. If your food look
your
ashy,
fucking turkey better have fucking gravy on it.
If your turkey look, if
that
your
shit
turkey
better
look
not
ashy,
look like it's fucking ashy.
If it look ashy, put it in the trash.
Your mac and cheese better look fucking cheesy, and I better be able to see the ground pepper in that motherfucker. That joint
better not be watery neither.
Okay, yeah, facts.
No easy mac. You know what I'm saying? Unless
facts.
Easy Mac's all you have, I ain't gonna discriminate. But if you out there thinking you cooking, talking about you gonna show a plate that's A1, you don't show it.
Yeah, I don't want to see no bullshit,
you know what I'm saying? But if you do have a fireplace, show it. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you a little compliment, slide me a plate type joint. But before we wrap, last thing, what's your favorite meal on Thanksgiving? Your favorite dish?
I mean, mac and cheese is pivotal.
What about you?
Yeah, if the mac not good,
the mac is pivotal to the entire meal. That can make or break the meal.
What about you, Millz?
If the mac not good, I don't want it.
That's what I'm saying.
But nah, peach cobbler, baby. That's the one. Peach cobbler, that joint hitting. If you know what I'm saying, you gotta have the peach cobbler.
Never had peach cobbler before.
Really?
Never had it.
I'm about to get you a little dish.
I have African Thanksgiving, so they don't.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna cut you. If we have some peach, we should have peach cobbler this year, Mama. If you listening, you need the peach cobbler and apple pie. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. That's what it is. But yeah, you know what I'm saying.